Definitely, my parents would not let me go to Neverland.
Well, Neverland looks crazy.
They would be like, "Nope. What do you got? Why are you going to there for? What are you going to go do there?" That's what they would say.
You see it?
It actually looked like a great time.
Yeah, paradise.
If I was 10 years old, I would definitely want to go to Neverland.
All that candy, the cake,
a tiger.
As sort of a camel.
Didn't he have his own monkey?
Yeah,
I'm sure he had his own monkey. Michael Jackson's monkey.
I'm kind of Google searches right now
because he has a name.
Bubbles.
Yeah, sorry, not a chimpanzee.
You
look at that poor animal.
Oh, he looks nasty.
He does not look happy one bit.
He looks nasty posing with them.
Yeah, that looks a little crazy. See, I'm convinced that Michael didn't have good friends.
100%.
Because if he had better friends, he'd be like, "Yo, Mike, you and Bubbles got to relax." That's what they would have said. They would have said, "You got to relax."
It's crazy. You could tell who is associated with who or how good your friend group is by the things that you do.
Yeah,
100%.
But then again, how can we blame somebody when they have so much money and they're like probably paying the friends their way? You know, I feel like I wouldn't be able to be one of those people.
Yeah,
but I could understand that when you're in that position and everything's getting comped for you.
Yeah,
and you're being flown around the world. That
you're a superstar in a bubble.
You're gonna say, "Hey, Mike, yeah, Bubbles is a good idea." That's crazy.
Whatever you like, Mike.
How did PETA allow this? Nowadays, this would not be allowed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Didn't Kanye have like a?
I don't want to know, man.
Some sort of.
I don't want to know. Animal? Seen enough of him this week playing the pianos and you saw that?
That sounded crazy.
Yeah,
though.
it did.
Let's be honest.
It did.
He was hitting whatever he was hitting.
It did.
That sounded great.
It did. Whoa. Yeah.
Those Kardashians. Yo, they stay relevant.
And Tristan.
Am I the only one that believes that it's all fake?
Nah, it could be.
Tell me that they don't just constantly stay relevant.
Maybe just want to get caught.
3 times? Well, if he's trying, then he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
If he was as good as a cheater as he's a basketball player.
Oh, you have more than one ring.
That he willingly won himself.
May have 2. Oh, man. It's Thursday.
This feels weird.
It's Thursday. There's 2 of us.
Damn it.
We should have just left I told you we should have left the mic and got a little TFC toque or a little jersey and just put on the mic.
That would look crazy on camera.
Yeah. I don't know if we should be upset at Dan, though.
No. Why would he want to be stuck here with us again?
Because he went to the other podcast?
Okay, then we should be.
Went to the other podcast to enjoy their night when it was our night.
Like I said, Dan rubbed shoulders with the highest high of Canadian soccer. Maybe he'll come back to us with more answers.
Yeah. You know, one day that's going to backfire.
Very much so.
At some point.
Yeah.
At some point, he's going to get pressed.
There's going to be a crossroads.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might not benefit us.
Well, for the next 3 hours, people are going to understand why Dan is such a vital component to this podcast. Fabs not shit. Fabs not shit.
Yeah.
Fabs not shit, especially on a Thursday, given the week that we've had. The long weekend. Not the long weekend, but the weekend that we've had. The amount of games that we've watched. The amount of videos that we've made. The amount of new subscribers that have come across our page.
That we've uploaded and then taken down and re-uploaded.
Because there was no sounds. It's been a week.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah. Been up since 3:30. Fabs is up at like 4:30. But we're here. More than 12 hours later. We got a podcast to run, man. We let everyone get their shit off on Monday. Because we were generous. I don't know why. I don't know why. It just didn't make sense to come here on Monday, then come back again on Thursday to talk about practically the same teams that we're going to discuss on Monday. So we decided to save it until Thursday. You're going to hear it on Friday. And then just be a quick turnaround because right after Friday, we're going to break it down back to our normal slot time on Monday. So don't worry, folks. We didn't go anywhere. We're not leaving anytime soon. This is the best soccer/footy podcast in the world, even though if Dan is at another podcast.
How did we even allow something like that?
I don't know. We don't care.
We really ain't shit.
We really don't care. He's spying.
That's what. Yeah. Okay. That's what we're gonna roll with.
Just trying to find out why people like that podcast.
This is like Deflategate.
Yeah.
Or not Deflate, whatever the other one was where they actually
Spygate.
Okay, there we go. Some sort of a gate.
This is Dan-gate.
Dan-gate. That's crazy.
This is Dan-gate. They don't even know what hit them.
He's got everybody fooled over there.
Yeah. They're thinking he's there supporting.
He's got the little camera in his shoe.
He ain't supported. He's here with us. But yeah, man. It's just me and Fabs today, just like old times. Feels a bit weird.
Reminiscing.
Room's a bit empty. Ain't no one gonna ask me any challenging questions, which is good because I don't want to answer any questions today, to be honest. I'm good. Fabs in his R&B bag. We learned more about Neverland, and now we're here to break down provide you with organic, unfiltered soccer / footy analysis. But yeah, Fabs, you good? Survived the snowstorm. Everything's good. Everything's crisp.
I feel like the amount of snow that's fallen in the month of February has just been absurd. I'm over it.
And that's good.
And I don't want to hear the whole we live in Canada thing.
Okay, fine.
That's such a default. I hate that default.
Hey, man. We haven't actually had snow like this in a very long time.
No, a few winters, to be honest.
Yeah, so we kind of got to just chill a bit. But if it rolls into March and April, then y'all can say whatever you want. Y'all can say whatever the hell you want, to be honest.
Let's hope that it doesn't
whatever you
that
want.
way.
But yeah, man. It's Thursday. The vibes are good. I'm good. Fabs is good. We got a lot to break down. We're not even going to hit you with the small talk right now. We're just going to get straight into it because I don't know. I don't know why these past few weeks have been trying to really get into it, but there's actually a lot to talk about. So to those new listeners, to anyone who's listened in the past, on this podcast, I do like to hear what these guys like to say. However, this week, we're going to be, again, like any other soccer podcast, soccer / footy podcast.
No, we'll never be like that. We know very well that we're not like that.
We're going to we're not even going to intro it. We're just get straight to the shits.
We discussed Michael.
I don't think any other podcast says straight to the shits.
No, that's definitely not in their repertoire.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm going to respond to David and tell him. I'm just going to respond me. David's asking for some new podcast personalities in the best soccer podcast.
If you just add him and say me.
I'm going to do it. I swear to God, I'm going to do it. Right when we finish this podcast. David, don't ask that question. When I come here every week and tell people that we're the best soccer / footy podcast in the world.
Nobody's told him yet. It's okay.
I'm going to tell him. I feel like...
Would it be weird if I liked your comment? Me and Dan are the only two likes.
You guys better like it. The soccer / footy world is just a bit too, everyone wants to be, what's the word I'm looking for? They're just too humble? Is that the word?
Are we just going to say the same?
The same. There we go.
Everybody's just the same.
Just doing the same shit.
Cookie cutter. It's pretty cookie.
Breaking down the games. Hitting us with your media voice. Well, I really thought that. No, not here. Not on Thursdays. Not on Thursdays.
It's a little different.
Yeah, we ain't even hit the streets. We're saying it tonight. We're saying it tonight just to break this all down for you. I'm in a good mood, man. And we haven't even hit my DJ set.
I can't wait till Monday.
Oh, Monday!
I don't even know what's going to transpire.
Monday's going to be bananas. We're going to roll back the 90s. With that being said, man, we're going to get to our weekend in a bit. Mic's on. Camera's on.
Let's do it.
It's the InnerViews Podcast. Whoa. We got to run that back. Mic's on.
Camera's on.
What's the thing called? The soundboard. There we go. That's what I was waiting for.
It's definitely
the InnerViews Podcast, episode number 61. It's your guy Tyrrell, live and direct from Toronto, Ontario. Survived the snowstorm yet again. I felt like I've survived at least 5 this month, but we're here. No Dan today, but I'm here with my guy, the man of all men, the legend of all legends, the guy that keeps this whole shit together. Fabs, how are you?
I'm excellent. Happy to be back again.
It's been a long time. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute.
The week and a half after we've been doing two every week for the last month.
I'm ready to hit 2 every week.
On a consistent basis.
We got a lot of shit to talk about.
We really don't have lives.
The
The fact that we can get away 2 nights a week to come talk to each other is a little crazy.
That's all that matters, man. That's the problem. I'm talking about everyone else. I'm happy to be here. It's very cold outside, but we survived. The winter hopefully is coming to an end. We have a lot of stuff to break down today. This is the best soccer/footy podcast in the world, providing you with organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. We have the Premier League to break down, Copa del Rey, Copa Italia, TFC, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A,
it's all
Bundesliga.
happening.
It's all happening. It's all happening today. Don't ask us how we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. Just the two of us. Dan is wherever he is, but we're going to do it. So before we even decide to get into that, we got to give a shout to the YouTube subscribers. You guys have been doing great. The Facebook likers and followers, keep doing what you're doing. The podcast listeners on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple, any Android devices on your any Android apps on your Android devices, anyone who's listened to the podcast, period, shout out to you. Shout out to those on Instagram, Twitter. No Twitter beef this weekend. Twitter beef this weekend?
Nope.
Twitter beef this week?
Maybe.
With who?
No, sorry. I thought the other way around.
Okay.
Twitter beef this weekend? Maybe. This week? No.
Okay. No Twitter beef yet. He's definitely getting to Twitter beef this weekend, especially if Porto get the hammer.
Oh, no.
Don't. Porto get the hammer.
I'm going to fight some of your friends.
I understand if you don't come back on Monday. With that being said, shout out to everyone there. Shout out to all the Toronto soccer podcasts. Shout out to all the Toronto podcasts. This is the best one, but we're still going to give you guys a shout out. Shout out to the Clip Draw Gang, the Grizz Gang, Fabs' De Gea Clan, Dan's is whatever Dan is. Dan and TFC Live. Shout out to TFC Live. Shout out to everyone doing their thing. Shout out to the unemployed, single men, single females, independent men, independent women. Who else are we shouting out this week? The plowers, the salters. Shout out to the mayor for trying to tell us that they were plowing and salting, but they weren't plowing and salting. Shout out to the Raptors, all the Toronto sports teams. Shout out to those that are really trying to get their bag. Shout out to the college kids, high school kids. The kids that get the day off.
Isn't it March break
for the past few weeks?
Or reading week.
Shout out to those people that are away trying to really make us feel bad because they're in the hot sun. Yo, y'all are coming back soon, so don't worry about it. Y'all will be back soon, and I hope it snows when you come back.
Hope your flight is delayed because of the snow.
Shout out to the mailmen, the firefighters, the paramedics. Shout out to the bottle service girls.
Wow. You're covering all the bases.
Would you ever date a bottle service girl?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. I feel like the bottle service girls don't get any love.
I feel like they're the ones that are always getting hit on by the guys when they first enter the bottle, when they first get their bottle.
But I feel like in society the bottle service girls don't get no love. I feel like people feel like they ain't shit.
I don't think. Okay, maybe it's probably not the most desirable.
That's where I'm going with it. Like people just
you tell somebody, oh, I'm a bottle service.
But you know what's funny? Those bottle service girls make more than a lot of people that are hating on them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Shout out to the bottle service girls. Yeah. They need love.
Kudos to you guys.
Yeah. Shout out to all. I feel like I had to say shout out to all those celebrating Black History Month because it's almost over. I never mentioned it once. Shout out to y'all. Everyone who's ever supporting, who is supporting or engaged in it. Shout out to everyone riding public transportation. Shout out to all the public workers. Shout out to everyone, man. Shout out to everyone. I just felt like I had to give the bottle service girls some love because I feel like they weren't.
Now you have to ask a female if she would date a club promoter.
Shout out to the club promoters.
How is it any different?
And the photographers. No, you can't. Shout out to the DJs. Actually, you can't. I told you can't date the DJs or the club promoters, man. You can't. Sorry.
And if you do, you're a very trustworthy person.
Sorry, guys. I gotta blow the cover, man. Actually, I know a few club promoters. Some of them are good guys. But nah, you can't date them.
But that must suck, though, to be labeled as something because of your job. Like, what if you're actually a really good guy, but that's just what you chose to do for a job?
Nah.
Okay, here I am sticking up for you guys, and Tyrrell says no.
You ever been to the club? The lights get low. You need to hit that quota. You grab any random girls off the street, and they have to thank you after.
Okay, I see where you're going with this conversation.
Wifey's at home thinking that you're being the best club promoter that you could be.
Being a noble club promoter.
Get ensuring that everyone isn't standing in the cold, getting all those females into the warm establishment, but not knowing that always comes with a thank you.
Does a club promoter still exist? Maybe because I don't attend these places now.
They do exist.
Like that thing still.
Yeah, they do exist.
You got to know a guy who knows a guy to get a table.
Especially in Toronto, man. No males. You go to any place that
women are free all night.
You go to any place that lets the males in without any hassle. You know that place is trash.
Or they have a lot of female clientele.
Oh no, the poppin' place will be empty. They leave the males out for a good hot 45 minutes. Yeah, y'all gotta wait.
The females don't know the struggle of the male.
But you know what's crazy about it is that the guys that are making them wait are men. So you'd think that they would be like, "Oh, my brother, I understand," but nah.
Because they're inside situating all the females. Getting first dibs.
See, the thing that I never got with the clubs is that at the end of the day, the males are spending the most money.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And I've gone to a lot of places where I've seen males leave because they're waiting in a line for too long. And that's a good $100 right there.
Easy.
Because they're not understanding that guys are buying for themselves and the females.
Yeah.
Ain't no females in there buying any drinks. Willingly.
I'm gonna stay on this fence.
Willingly? Yo, man.
No, that's
they're in the minority. I'm sorry. Females know it too.
No, 100%. I think that's, you know how many times I've gone out with, like, after the fact when I started dating my fiance, I said going out with her, I'm like, aren't you bringing any money to the club? She's like, no, I don't have to. And then you're like, this is how you used to go out, like, without taking any money? Like, you just expect things to fall out of the sky?
Yeah. I don't think I ever bought a girl a drink.
Oh, I was definitely a culprit of at least one or two.
Yeah. I feel like you have to be. I don't think I've ever...
But you don't even drink yourself.
Yeah, exactly. See?
That was all part of the game plan.
We're in 2 waters. No ice.
She is the one if she accepts the water. If she accepts your water, wow.
A lot of them used to think that I'm tripping. They're like, hey, you don't drink? Remember I told you the girl put the finger? Yeah, man. They're tripping, man. Yeah, I'm not coming in there to pay. It wasn't even the cheap thing. I just didn't drink. I was always the DD.
That's fair. You're a valiant man to be the DD.
Yeah, I held it down, man.
I did that once for New Year's, and it was the most terrible experience ever.
Nah, it's the best, man.
No, I do not want to deal with drunk people when I'm not drunk.
Fair enough. But no, my peoples keep it. They keep it,
but not like sloppy.
Yeah.
But still, the interaction level is so different.
But I don't know, man. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, though. I see where you're coming from. Anyways, females.
Shout out to the females not taking any money to the club.
Yeah, shout out to the females not taking any money
and
to
enjoying
the club.
your evening. That's impressive.
Shout out to the females that are taking money to the club and buying fellows a drink.
You get gunshots. That's the challenge for any female that listens to us, which probably is 0.
Those are the real ones. Those are the ones you bring home to mom.
Go buy a male a drink.
How'd you guys meet? Oh, she bought me a drink. Yeah. That's how you know she's a real one. That's not happening nowadays. I'm kind of scared to really jump back and see what's really going on in these 416 streets and in these establishments.
I think if you were to go out, there would be a female who would buy you a drink.
We're gonna put that to a test.
We should.
In March.
Okay.
We'll put it to a test.
Deal.
We're gonna see. You think they would?
There's got to be at least... I have faith in females, okay?
Nah, I ain't shit.
Not in you, in females.
How does she even come up to me?
Just walk in.
Females have no game.
If you walk...
Females have no game. Is she gonna come?
I think that's a topic that's not discussed.
Females have no game.
What is the opening line for a female?
How are you gonna come up to me standing at the bar and ask me what I like to drink? Not a lot of females. There are a few females that I know personally through my experience that can pull that off, but that's like less than a handful.
I feel like females get away with the more aggressive approach.
Yeah,
because like if they came up to you and grabbed you, like you'd be like, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
this doesn't happen all the time. This is great."
Nah, see,
but if you did that. That's a no-go.
So I told you, my jersey's in the Raptors. I'm a seasoned vet. You can't grab me now and think that I'm just gonna like, oh shit, this is my lucky night. Nah,
you can't grab Michael.
No, you can't.
Not 2-3.
No, you can't. You can't. I actually want to see where you're coming from. But females don't. This is a challenge to females.
Wow.
2019, show us your game, man. Let's see what you're about. I know they don't have any, but I want to see if any females can actually pull it off.
I'm literally in the rafters, okay? Yeah. Like you can test. And Dan, you guys.
I hope your fiance is listening to this.
You can go test them out. Gonna get me into all kinds of trouble.
Shout out to the females with game. Shout out to everyone doing their thing, following their dreams, setting those goals, crushing it. Shout out to everyone, man. I'm just happy. It's Thursday. It's not my favorite day. Monday's my favorite day, but it's Thursday. How are you? How's your weekend? Good?
I'm good.
Everything's good?
I got zero complaints.
No
man.
complaints? That's all that matters, man. Dan ain't here to really ask him what he's really saying.
He is definitely enjoying his evening.
And since we actually got a lot of shit to talk about, man.
We always do this.
No, but this we actually got a lot of shit to talk about today. And I feel like we're going to definitely go over the time. For those that listen to us and actually do like our banter and what we do talk about, we'll save that for Monday. I do got shit to talk about, but
hey, it's already been half hour.
Yeah, it's already been a half hour. We're killing you guys with all our boring theories about females. So we're not going to get to that anymore or get into anything else. Fabs knows what time it is. I know what time it is. So that being said, if everything's on, if we've shouted out everyone, and if you guys are ready for the organic, unfiltered soccer / footy analysis, because we're trying to be the best. Shout out to the PR Prem boys.
Hey.
One half of the PR Prem boys. If we're going to do what we do
Just
best. Shut up. We're going to do what we do best. Then Fabs knows what time it is. It's the InnerViews Podcast, episode number 61. No Dan here, but Fabs and I are going to really provide you with everything you need to know what happened this weekend and this past week. So with that being said, we got a lot of shit that we could break into. I don't know where we're going to start. Fabs, you pick today. What do you want to go with?
I think we obviously got to go Prem.
You
obviously got to go Prem.
We obviously got to go Prem because...
Am I the only one that's sick of El Clasicos?
I got to hold it down for Dad.
Am I the only one that's sick of El Clasicos?
See, this is the problem. Everyone always... Whenever they're bunched together, everyone's sick of them. But y'all been craving for it.
No, but even I feel like they're just getting to the point where they're stale.
So what makes it not... What's going to make it not stale? When Messi leaves?
I don't even think it's a Messi Ronaldo thing at this point. I feel like they've just played each other so often that when you continue to see the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes sickening. Okay. It's like New England.
Okay.
I still get it that it still is probably the biggest game in club football. But I don't think Real Madrid is on that level that's challenging them to a point where it makes it interesting. Yeah, they have their chances, but they didn't take them just because I feel like that team doesn't have enough goals in it. They don't have enough finishers.
I feel like Real Madrid pulled what they did to Ajax. I mean, Barca, yeah, it was like a role reversal.
Exactly.
That's what it reminded me of. But fine, we don't got to start with them. We'll start with the Prem, man. Shout out to the Prem. There's a lot of stuff that we could break into with the Prem. We talk about the Carabao Cup final.
I guess we could go all the way back there because that sort of plays with hand in hand with Chelsea and how they beat Spurs, and you can go that way, I guess.
Well, they're back in the top 4 hunt.
It changes from week to week. It's like people got to just relax with their crazy 1 week hot takes.
Okay, no, the craziest thing, the thing that pissed me off this week was when they were like, well, it looks like Spurs are out of the title race.
They were never in the title race.
If Spurs win this, then if Spurs lose this, then they're out of the title race. If they win this, they're still in the hunt.
This was just Spurs coming back down to earth.
And it's so funny because I told Dan was like, well, when Kane comes back and Ali comes back.
You called that.
they're going to be great. They're going to be great.
Well, since Kane has been back, they're 0-2.
0-2. Burnley, Chelsea, and boy, if they lose this weekend, if they lose to Arsenal, then we're going to have a real conversation about what's really going on there.
I think the conversation starts to become does that team have the stomach for it? I don't think it's no longer the fact that they're not capable in terms of tactics, because we know Poch is a great coach. He's proven that with the side that he has, the teams he's put together. We know that there is quality throughout that lineup. From top to bottom, regardless of where you go, there's quality. But the mental aspect of that side I don't think they can. One, they for sure can't stomach a title fight.
No, 100%.
So I think that was always out of the question. Never at any point did I truly believe that Spurs were a title contender, even challenging. But can they stomach a battle? Just a battle.
They can't go anywhere and get a result, it seems. Against a top side. They struggle to go away and actually, perform. And not perform, but like actually get the job done. And that's one of the reasons why as young and naive as Dortmund are, that's a fight that they have to go into and for 90 minutes really grind it out. And I just don't trust them. If they do it, kudos to them. But
Especially if they come off a loss to Arsenal,
Yeah.
3 in a row, and you're going to Dortmund.
Yeah. It's a lot to handle, and we also have to look at the squad not having many options, and it's a grinding season. Over time, you do get tired. It does pose a question that, Kane is there, and I think Kane is great. I think we could all agree that Kane is great, but there are going to be some people that are going to question whether he's a system player. At some point, that's going to be a conversation that's going to be had.
I think that's a little unfair.
It is. But I feel like people are gonna start to spark that conversation.
Well, you also really never know the true answer to that question because he's always only been in one system.
Exactly.
Under one manager.
So that's why a lot of people are gonna really, when he makes that move, they're gonna really be critical on him if it doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying? We don't see a lot of English players leave to go abroad, so it's where will he go if he does leave?
That's always been my thing about the English players. We've never seen a successful English player play abroad. Barring Beckham and whatever you take as what level of success he reached and what level he could have reached.
Yeah.
There has never been an English player that's gone abroad.
Since the turn of the millennium, yeah.
Not really. I've tried to rack my brain in thinking of who it is. Owen?
But that didn't work out, yeah.
Exactly. That didn't reach the level that it should have.
Is McManaman English? I'm pretty sure he is. But that was...
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of English, but...
that wasn't whatever. He doesn't. We're talking about in recent years and whatnot. Yeah, and that's why when Kane makes that move, if he does make that move, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes and how he adjusts to it. Because if he goes into an environment that is unstable, like Real Madrid, that could turn south quickly. We've seen it happen, right? Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, he comes back, and I remember it's funny. Dan was like, "Yeah, he's secure. Everything is secured." But there's something about the Spurs side come late February, March, April, that really does begin to drop off. And along with the schedule, the lack of options off the bench, and the fact that there's no easy games once this month comes around. There are going to be a lot of results where people are not going to really predict based on paper. But there are a lot of teams in that bottom that are scrapping to win games. And those are the toughest games to play around this time of the month because those teams have nothing to lose and they're going to give everything to get a point, let alone 3.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of people who now, we're into the last 10 games of the season, so you're seeing a lot of these team comparisons on who they're playing. And for example, like City and Liverpool, they're saying, they're playing, most of the sides they're playing are in the bottom half.
Doesn't matter.
Those are the last teams that I want to play right now.
Yeah.
I do not want to play 10 through 17.
No.
Who know that every point matters.
Yeah.
They're not going out there. They'll steal the point from you and be happy.
Yeah.
Because if they take a point from a City, if they take a point from a Spurs.
That's a bonus.
That's huge.
That's a bonus.
So those are the last teams that I really want to play right now.
But when I look at Spurs, funny that we're starting with them. When I look at them, I'm not surprised by any of these results because they very well should have dropped points against Burnley at home this season with everyone fit. And it was, I think, the late Eriksen goal that got them over the hump. And then against Chelsea, they haven't beaten them at home this season, on the road this season, because they lost in that Carabao Cup second leg semifinal. Yeah. And they come here and, I mean, they possibly could have got a result.
It wouldn't have been out of the question.
Yeah, because I don't think Chelsea played that well. But
it took that Pedro moment to really unlock the game.
Yeah.
Because, Winks hit the crossbar. And even
Higuain
for Chelsea,
hit the post, luckily.
Yeah, how many chances were there really for either side?
Hazard was quiet.
Yeah, so there was an opportunity for a game breaker to really change that game, but that's just what we didn't see.
So when we look at them now, they really got to win against Arsenal because the gap is really cutting close. If Arsenal win that and the other two win, Chelsea and United, then we have a real dogfight for the top 4 spot, and I think we really do need that. I think if they could have a proper title race to the end and that top 4 battle go to the end, it could be a great season.
And then the relegation, you start to look at that last spot of the relegation battle that's on all fronts.
No one's safe.
Yeah, 100%.
Between Cardiff, Southampton.
And it's not looking good for Spurs because 80% of their losses this season have come against the top 6 sides.
Yeah.
They've only lost to Burnley and Watford.
Yeah.
Those are the only teams below the top 6 that they've dropped points to.
Both away.
So if you're going into a match with Arsenal, you're not, as a Spurs fan, you're really not feeling that comfortable.
Yeah. And even though they're home, to me, Wembley still feels like a neutral ground.
Yeah.
So that's not really a big deal for me. So it's going to be interesting to see because Arsenal have been winning games and they're getting players. They got Mkhitaryan back, Lacazette, Aubameyang.
If you really look through their lineup, in terms of attacking options and options potentially in the midfield as well, they have more options than Spurs does, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
But it's also a fact of which Arsenal shows up.
Yeah.
It goes for both sides. Which Spurs do we see? Which Arsenal do we see?
Because Arsenal have been really inconsistent this season, and the back line isn't. We know what the back line is, right?
Yeah.
So Son and Kane could really get at them, but it's time now for Spurs because now they're in a moment of adversity, and they really got to find their feet. They need to win over the weekend. I don't think that should be overlooked. The draw, yeah, they still hold the gap over Arsenal, but if Chelsea and United win, that pushes them closer. So I really do think they need to win, and those two results there, although I did expect them, for a team that they say is challenging for the title, you got to win one of them, at least the Burnley game.
Does this rough stretch or does this back half of the season have any implications on summer moves?
A lot of
because you can kind of see even with the scuffle that Kane got into. Is that like a sign of Kane being frustrated?
Perhaps. I don't really know what he thinks. I want to know what he thinks.
You don't get much from him in terms of
he's not really saying much. He's not that type of guy to really be out there,
which could be a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing because I don't want to say most, but a lot of English players in general have gotten themselves into trouble, nightlife, the whole shebang. But he's pretty quiet, so I don't really know what he's thinking. I don't know where his mindset is at. I don't even know who his agent is. So good on him. But
maybe it's his mom.
Something's got to give. I want to know more about Harry Kane and what he wants from football and who he wants to be and what he thinks he can be. And I just feel like at the Spurs side, he hasn't really been able to show that. He's been able to show that he's a really good goal scorer and a top center forward. But I want to know more about you. And I want to know, where do you think you'll be in the next 5? The question, where are you going to be in the next 5 years? I want to know where Harry Kane is going to be in the next 5 years.
In his Match.com profile, where are you going to be in the next? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Does Harry Kane have a girl?
I believe so. I could be wrong.
I feel like they all got girls, but I've never,
Yeah,
they kind of lay low over there on that side of London.
It might be the way they like to do things.
Fair enough. But yeah, man, Spurs. I wanted to get to Chelsea quickly because we talk about Kane and how great he is. Is Eden Hazard the best player in the Premier League?
Are we talking about in the last year? Are we talking about on his day? Or are we talking about?
So I'll say on his day. Yeah.
I think it would probably be on his day between him and maybe like De Bruyne for me. Salah probably puts himself in that position on his day.
A lot of people don't, when they compare the two between De Bruyne and Hazard, it's a Hazard, 100%. That's a general consensus.
I think that's a little unfair.
Out of a lot, and I just want to know if you feel that he's been the best player this season, because that's been a conversation that people have had.
In the Prem?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I've seen that on the timeline.
I've seen him gone missing far too many times in a lot of matches.
And then the defense to that was that people are saying, well, people think that he's not having a great game because sometimes he doesn't look engaged.
No, I don't care about that. I just care about teams being able to shut you out, you not being able to dribble past players or picking the wrong moment or doing an extra dribble or not getting the proper pass off. To me, that's what matters in the game.
He was the best player at the World Cup, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But that's the frustrating part is when you see games like the game against City where he looks alive, he looks engaged, he on the ball, he is when he's capable of those games.
Yeah,
that's what to be Ronaldo, to be Messi.
That's a weekly thing.
That's a week to week. You see it. I'm not going to say 100% of the time because those players do have games where they're off as well.
Yeah, but
you see that 90% of the time. And I don't see that 90% of the time in Hazard.
But even when they're off, they're still decisive in the final third. And I think that's what separates them. And I feel like Hazard does get a lot of slack because he's not decisive in the final third. And I mean, I look at that game against City and come on, brother.
Yeah.
You got to score.
Yeah.
You got to score. And I feel like that's what kind of hinders the view that people have on him. But when I look at him, it's just, I see that performance against City, and you are phenomenal. You're the best player on the pitch by a country mile besides probably Conte.
Yeah.
And I look at you and it's like, why don't I see that every week? So you could perform at that level against the best, arguably the best team in the country. But then you go over again and play against Spurs and you're absolutely quiet.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that's why I can't really give him that credit based off talent. Is he the best player in the league? Perhaps. Has he been the best player in the Premier League since he's got there in terms of era? You can make the case that he's been the best player since 2013 in the league. And based off his consistency that he's had, I think he's only really had one genuinely poor season when Mourinho got sacked that year. But I look at him and it's like, you have all this talent and you could pull off performances like that. But why don't we see it every single week? And that's why I challenge him, because I feel like he can be one of, or if not the best player in the Premier League and in the world to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
But we don't see it on a week-to-week basis.
Or when you lose 5-0 to Bournemouth.
Yeah. Like, where were you during that? And we can't blame your team, because at some point we look at that performance and like I said, on that day, you were missing 5-yard passes. You weren't connecting with your team. You weren't creating chances for your team. You weren't making those around you better. So I don't care if you could beat 5 guys and they get fouled.
How many times have those last 2 Ballon d'Or winners got absolutely smoked in a game like that where they were just non-existent?
Very rare.
And it's probably happened potentially a handful of times this season at Chelsea. There's a reason why there's rumblings of the team doesn't look motivated. He's a part of that.
Yeah. You should be one of the, if you don't have to be the main leader in that locker room, but you've been at that club for a very long time. And at some point you have to take initiative and onus as one of the senior players to step up and raise the game of everyone else's, especially if you are the best player in that locker room. And that's where I challenge Hazard, because I look at that game against City and he was phenomenal. And then I look at Spurs, a bit quiet. Nonetheless, a very good week for them. Yeah. Because heading into that, a lot of people thought Sarri was going to get sacked. And like you said, it's a week-to-week thing. Sarri in, Sarri out. You know, what is it? It doesn't, we don't really know what's happening at that club.
I think because even the higher-ups don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
That travels throughout the club, throughout the fan base. There's just so much uncertainty.
Toxic atmosphere. Then they get hit with then they get hit with the transfer ban.
Yes, that was huge.
Which we almost forgot.
Yeah.
So that could
and then the whole Kepa thing, like it's almost one thing after another. Yeah.
That's why Dan wants to come back for the podcast if we did on Monday, because I know where he was going to go with that. He did not want to. He was not going to side with Kepa. He was going to say, Sarri, I know Dan. Dan was probably going to say that Sarri should step down.
And should step down?
Yeah. Because he lost the dressing room and whatnot. And because Kepa didn't come off the field. Look, man. This is why I hate these young kids. I hate all of them. I hate every single one of them. I hate that they're so entitled. I hate that they feel that they can do whatever the hell they want and not face repercussions.
Could it have just been a miscommunication?
I look at it when I saw it in real time. I was like, "Damn, I don't think I've ever seen something like that. I don't think you're supposed to do that." So, as much as I blamed him, because if you're hurt, and if your manager tells you to come off, if he's instructing you to come off, you come off.
Yeah.
And I blame the players around him, because what were you doing? David Luiz, what were you whispering in his ear?
Yeah.
Azpilicueta, you're the captain.
Yeah.
And you just stood there and let that happen.
You're held accountable as well.
So I blame them, but then I also blame Sarri. Because at the end of the day, you have the final say. You have the final. It's not like he could say no and they're just like, oh, let me walk down the tunnel and throw a fit and then come back and then have Rudiger try to hold me back as if I'm going to do something. That's not how it works.
See, but that's the whole issue, is that he doesn't have the final say.
But if he tells the fourth official to throw up the little board,
But I think they did. They had his number on and everything, and he just said no. Like, I'm not coming, dude.
He's gotta come, but he's gotta come off. I'm pretty sure you gotta come off if that board is there. You gotta come off.
I don't know the semantics to it and how that works out, but
And then Sarri's like, whatever.
it seemed like he tried everything.
Well, whatever. He's a loser because then you end up. I don't care if he made a save. Your team lost.
Yeah,
Even if it's not your fault.
David Luiz sure is happy because he walked up there mad confident and smacked the crap out of that post.
Luiz usually hits those.
He's money.
Yeah, he's money.
Yeah, he usually is.
So I was surprised, but at the end of the day, you lost. I don't care if you saved all of that, but you still lost.
And you knew that coming out of that game, that was going to be the storyline.
Yeah,
instantly.
Yeah,
it didn't matter. Chelsea could have won, and I'm pretty positive that still would have been the storyline. Yeah,
but. And he got benched at Spurs, and then Willie didn't have to make any saves. So
thankfully,
so it worked out.
He almost got beaten by Winks from 30 yards out.
So it worked out for Chelsea. Now I was like, when does he come back?
I think he'll be back in this weekend.
I think he has to be back
because I do not want to see Willie Caballero any much longer in the Chelsea net.
Why?
Because he is atrocious. He is absolutely atrocious. He was the one that didn't he get beat by Eriksson last year, a similar shot.
I think so.
That went right over him. Like he jumps, but it seems like nothing happens when he jumps.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
It's
Willie's not the guy.
No, he's not the guy. He's past it. He should not start. The fact that Sarri started him in that game was definitely a huge gamble, given the implications. If they were to lose,
Sarri's done some things where it's like. He's really stuck his neck out of the line. It's almost like, okay, are you really going to sack me? Here, let me try to get myself sacked.
Like, let me go above and beyond Zappacosta.
Yeah, Willie. Come on.
I do like that that Ruben Loftus-Cheek has come back into the side. And
well, he's given him and Callum some more minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe what the fans are barking at him every time.
But I still never get that because at the end of the day, it's like you want to finish at a certain place, but you're gonna bank that on those kids.
It's tough. It's a tough situation to be in.
You know, and you don't, like I said, you don't have any leaders in that side to kind of push them on, like at another club, right? Or a system in place that is actually tried and tested and has been implemented for a few seasons. So I don't know what they really want, but it was nice to see them, and it turned out to be a not so bad week for Chelsea, given the fact that they lost the cup final. But to win against Spurs kind of balanced things out, and now everything's in their hands.
I think it's not so much. Yes, it is results, but I think it's the performances that people are looking for at this point as well. Because like even losing to City, people were happy with the performance
because they were a bit more reserved and they stifled City. And yeah, I get it. And Hazard played really good.
So I think even if he doesn't win the fans over with the results, even if he can get the performances rolling in the right direction, that might ultimately save his job.
That could be the case. I'm interested to see what happens there now. And I'm interested, like I said, it's going to be a Hazard watch till the end of the season. We think we know where he wants to go. We think that he may get that move. But at the end of the day, for the last few months that you're here, show us that you are the best player. I think that's all I can really say. Let us know.
Or remind us.
Yeah, because what a lot of players have made that big money move, like I've said in the past, they have showed us that they are the best player by a significant margin and that they're worthy enough to play at that level. Because you can't go to Real Madrid and half-ass it.
Because they're going to kill you.
Yeah, and you can't go, and at that point, you don't want to go to that Real Madrid side now with the turmoil that they're in and the uncertainty that they're in and half-ass it.
People want to think that English media is bad.
Yeah.
You play for Real Madrid or Barcelona, there's not a step that you take that there isn't somebody watching.
Yeah. You got to be on your game. That those clubs, especially Barcelona now, there's no patience.
Yeah.
You got to go there and you got to deliver right away.
Well, and I think Real Madrid are getting sick of losing to Barcelona and sick of losing to them domestically.
Yeah.
It's coming to a point where they need to overhaul that whole thing and start to get results domestically right away. Because I think they know the European reign, that's over.
Yeah. which is understandable.
Yeah, 100%.
You won 3 times in a row, man.
Even if Ronaldo was there this season,
Yeah.
I don't think there's very many people who would have expected them to win again.
Yeah. No. That
would be insane.
That has been the talking point. Well, if Ronaldo was there, would they challenge in the league? I told you where I stand on that and what I know that club is and the issues that they have. They'd probably win a few more games.
I think it bridges the gap.
The race would probably be a bit closer given how Barcelona have been so inconsistent.
That is the main thing.
But I don't think we could go as far as them winning the league because they still have a lot of issues, barring just goal scoring.
Considering how many slip-ups Barcelona have allowed, that's why I think that Ronaldo, the ability to maybe give you an extra 6 points, 5 to 6 points, 5 to 7 points at this point of the season, would bridge that gap a little bit closer.
But then I flip the question, perhaps the fact knowing that the other clubs have been dropping points has given them that level of comfort that they can kind of just ease off. Because last season, they're just winning.
Yeah.
Because they kind of felt like they had to.
They almost overachieved last season.
Yeah.
I think you could argue they did overachieve.
They did overachieve.
Based off the summer that they had, and they had the Dembele signing, but the Coutinho signing in January
they
as
never
well.
really.
But people didn't really expect them to walk away with the league the way that they did. They lost one game.
After that Super Cup loss to Real Madrid, when Ronaldo was flexing, everyone was like, "Oh, Real Madrid are gonna bag this league. Yeah, it's their time now." And
Barca,
they got sucker punched twice.
It's almost as if that's what they like. Yeah, is that they want everybody to think, "Okay, we're not shit." Yeah, and then we'll show you in terms of our results.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to them in a bit. City, a bit tired. City, a bit fatigued.
Getting the wins, but not looking the most impressive. And I think it's coming off not really having much secondary support. Yeah, they've brought in Mahrez, but he had a good start to the season, but it's been inconsistent for him. Jesus just never got going yet this season. He's in a sort of a second season slump. Their 11 have been very good with the addition of, I guess we could call Sane sort of that 12th. But other than that, if you really look at the bench, there hasn't been much substantial there on a consistent basis.
Well, they've had defenders slot in to kind of really help out. I feel like that's been really key for them. We may have to have a discussion about Mahrez soon. Not to like get him out of here, but to really break down how difficult it is to make an adjustment to a big club that demands so much of you, and how hard it is to kind of transition and play at that level regularly.
And I think it also changes when your role changes. Yeah. Because at Leicester, he had free reign to do whatever he pleased. He can get into his bag of tricks, add the flair, do whatever he wants. But under Pep, you got to pick and choose your spots. Yeah. You're playing the way Pep wants. You're not playing how Mahrez wants.
Yeah, and you're playing to win on a weekly basis.
Exactly. And you have to change. I think it's not only certain players fit in a Pep side, but it's, can that player change mentally? I think mentally you need to have a certain level of understanding of the game. Your IQ has to be there, and also your ability to adapt to what Pep wants. I think that's why Pep goes out and buys not the ready-made player. Yeah. Pep doesn't want Sanchez, or maybe he does. Yeah. But he doesn't really want Sanchez. He doesn't want an Ozil. No. He doesn't want those type of guys. He wants the Sanes. He wants the Bernardos. He wants all those guys because he can mold them. Yeah. So even guys like Aguero had the ability to mentally be like, okay, I have to get behind what this guy's saying, or else I'm hitting the bench. Yeah. And maybe Mahrez just hasn't hit that yet.
Because he did play. He did play against West Ham. But even then, they kind of just grinded it out. I think it was a Aguero penalty, right? Yeah. But they keep pace with Liverpool. And I think that's the biggest thing for them. You know, the quadruple dream is alive.
Is that even possible?
It is.
Like, it would take something extremely special.
It's difficult because of the Champions League.
Yeah.
I think that's the difficult part. Because I think you could knock off those three. If a team like them, they can knock off those three. It's not going to be easy, but they're capable of knocking it off. But it's the Champions League that is the real difficult competition to knock off.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
But what's crazy is the fact that the competitions come at such different stages of the season as well. So for you to win all 4 is you've literally had to keep pace all season.
yeah,
It's not like you turned it up for 2 months and you
yeah,
somehow won 3 titles. No,
yeah,
you've been phenomenal across 8 months, 7 to 8 months, which is nuts.
it's difficult. I think maybe that's why Klopp kind of decided to take the little competitions off.
Well, because they will trade 2 of those competitions in for 1.
Yeah.
So if you don't win the FA Cup and if you don't win the Carabao, at the end, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think the fans really care.
But they should, man. Those cups shouldn't matter. At least the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup, if you don't care about that, I'll accept it unless you're in the final and you win. But you should care about the FA Cup.
That's like the Advertisers Cup.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the sponsor changes
Carabao,
every
Carling Cup.
Yeah, it changes every 2 to
Yeah.
3 years.
So, but like you should care about the FA Cup. I'll never understand that the fans abroad don't care about the FA Cup. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it matters.
Listen, anytime you win a trophy, it
Yeah.
matters. You go tell me the way the city celebrated after winning that shootout, if that didn't matter to them.
Yeah, it's not like they patted themselves on the back and went home.
No.
So it matters. So good for them for getting through that Chelsea tie, because that second half, you got a bit worried that Hazard was really going to end that game off, and then they end up winning against West Ham. We may have to have a discussion about City in depth when Dan comes back, and Liverpool, to see where they're both going, because we're getting down to nitty gritty. Someone's got to drop points.
10 games left.
Liverpool did drop points against United, and I really want to talk about that game because I was like, oh damn, it's happening. It's happening. And now I look at them. Yeah, they got the win against Watford, but that game against United, that was the game for the killing. That was there. They should finish that game off.
Considering the opening 30, 35 minutes when United are forced to make all 3 changes,
yeah,
then that's where you have to go for the throw.
Yeah.
And I think there was a couple of changes Klopp made that he didn't go for it at the right time.
Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah, I was not feeling Origi.
Yeah.
No, Origi came on before Shaqiri.
Yeah.
To me, I think Shaqiri was the move that needed to be made, and it was made too late.
But Shaqiri hasn't been featuring lately, and I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's something internally in terms of training, something behind the scenes. And at the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see what Divock Origi offers you.
I'm glad we both see that.
I don't know what he offers you. I don't know what you try to get out of him. I know he scored that little lucky goal against Everton.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and he scored this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Or midweek. But I don't know what else he really offers you.
He's not offering you a lot more than Sturridge offers you.
Yeah. So that's a big problem.
He's a healthy Sturridge. That might be it.
But I don't know. I don't know why you're stupid. I don't know why he's there.
No, that's why. To me, it didn't make much sense. Okay, maybe are you looking for more of a physical presence because none of your attackers really give you that? Are you looking for that? But then again, you weren't really whipping in balls for him in the first place.
Exactly.
They're not the type of team. Do they have wide players that play great service into the box? Yeah, we've seen Arnold do it like 3 or 4 times against Watford.
Arnold should be playing central midfield for them.
But do they have a striker that plays to those strengths? No, they don't.
And that's a problem. But they've been getting by, without it. But I could see where they would need one and may need one.
Something
forward.
different.
Yeah,
they need a different look because the front 3, they're a little bit gassed. It hasn't. Yes, they put 5 past Watford, but it hasn't been there on a consistent basis.
Watford was really terrible.
That's a team that hasn't found consistency at all after the first month.
Yeah, Messina was getting killed by Salah.
Yeah,
and Robertson and Arnold were getting to do whatever the hell they wanted. You like that Mane back, yo?
That was pretty. That was nuts. If you miss something like that, you're heading straight to the bench.
Like what were you thinking? What possessed you to do that? I just found that interesting. I was like, okay, that's cute.
When it's Watford,
yeah,
you can sort of do as you please.
They were bad.
Yeah,
they were really bad. But that puts Liverpool at top, right? So I guess they did something right.
Yeah, they're getting the job done, regardless of how. This is that nitty gritty point of the season where I can't hate on teams too bad for just getting by especially with the run of games with Champions League. Okay, they aren't in the other competitions, but it gets difficult. Like just getting 3 points at this point in the season, barring the types of performances, it's all right.
But that's why I'm so more upset that they didn't do it against that United. Given all the injuries that they had, given who was on the field, that's a game that you go there and you finish it off.
It was a lost opportunity.
Yeah, and they've put City right back in the hunt. 1 point.
You have in 10 games, you have to believe that 1 point is going to shift.
Yeah, of course.
There's no way that both teams win out from here to the end of the season.
No,
I can't see that happening.
No, and I'm interested to see. I know what we could get out of City and what we may get out of City, but I'm interested to see what we get out of Liverpool, because in recent title runs, it's been these final 10 games where they trail off.
And personally, if I'm going against a Pep side or a Klopp side, I'm going to back Pep. In this scenario, in this 10 games sprint to the end,
yeah,
I would like to believe that I'm going to go with the guy who's been there, done that before, and got the job done.
Yep.
Because we don't know what a Klopp side is going to do with 3 games left and maybe a point up.
No, and I don't know if I trust those players either. To be honest with you, I don't know. They've given me no reason to trust them. So until they do, I'll watch from a distance, but nothing really for me. Arsenal.
I was gonna say if you wanted to touch on United, since we just
since
they were the other half of that game. Cisco and friends.
I don't care about them. I don't care about Cisco either. Well, Paul, man, I'm gonna talk to Paul every single week, because I feel like we talk about people. Said Mike had no good friends backing him. Yeah. Yo, Paul needs some new friends. Paul needs some new friends, a new hairstylist, and Paul needs a girl.
It's been the first time he changed his hair in a while.
Paul needs a girl.
Maybe Ollie instilled something in him.
He needs someone to really just sit him down and just like really ask him some questions.
Bring him back down to earth.
And really just be like, man, like, what are you doing? The hairstyle's that's not doing it for me, man.
Ask him, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Paul, what do you see yourself?
Paul would have the craziest answer.
Paul, where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's just, I don't even know how Paul would respond to that.
On America's Next Top Dancer. He's going to see himself in the Olympics because they're going to bring breakdancing to the Olympics.
Paul hit you with some moves. Paul's stupid, man. But he didn't do a bad job in a situation where United needed some of their senior players to really step up to the plate and grind things out. And I feel like against Liverpool, they were able to do that, and they will take the point. And then against Palace, barring Palace missing some great chances, they saw them off. And Lukaku got on the goal sheet, which is very good for them. And Pogba wasn't that bad.
Based on the circumstances, I think that game against Liverpool, in terms of this whole Ollie 3-4 month run, to me is probably his most impressive result.
And that's where I was going with it too.
Based off the circumstances, I think the only thing he got wrong in that game was the Lingard thing. I think you try to rush a guy back who wasn't even fit to begin the game. It kind of shows you the confidence that he has in Sanchez right now, and that it's not there.
No.
It's not there for Sanchez. No. Buddy has tried again, and I don't know what it is about that jersey. It must have an extra 10 pounds to it or something. It's a little different than the Arsenal red.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but
there's no swagger on that United red.
Where's that piano now?
Yo, Ollie brought out a half-injured man.
Instead of you, a fully fit Alexis Sanchez.
You got to really look at yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, what do I do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
But no, Ollie... Now, I think that was probably his best performance too. And it was one of those situations where their backs were against the wall and they're able to really limit and negate Liverpool's attacking threat. So you got to give him credit where it's due, you know?
I find it really interesting, that whole coaching Carrick and the other two guys.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see Ollie sitting and the other coach on the touchline. I think that's one of the first times I've ever really seen that in a whole managerial setup. And what came to my mind is, can you ever see a time where there really is no head coach? And there's like a couple of coaches really running the thing? Like, will that ever be a thing?
No, because I feel like they need one person in charge to kind of set their mark. And I feel like although the others may chip in and, I guess find different ways to help the team in different avenues, I feel like they still need that one guy to represent the team and to make the final decision.
So we can never see a Pep and Mourinho?
No.
Run the same team?
You will never see that ever. The one thing about Ollie that I think is a disadvantage to United is that if he keeps winning, he may get the job.
I think he's already has the job.
I don't think that's good for Manchester United.
I don't think it's publicly been said, but I don't think there's, at this point in the season, the fans love him. The players seem to, for whatever reason, want to play under him. All the coaching staff, backroom staff, everybody loves him. He doesn't say one wrong thing in any of the interviews. And I think you can't let him go. Because if you let him go, and the next guy that comes in the first month or 2 months of the season does not perform to your standards,
Poch.
in 8 games he wins 5 and loses 1 and draws 2, automatically you're going to get the windstorm of questions of, why'd you fire Ollie? Ollie did this, Ollie did that, especially if Ollie gets you to within touching distance or even in that top 4.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that you cannot give him next season.
My thing is that just going off history and seeing how these new manager bounces work, usually when that manager gets their first full season, they struggle to implement their ideas. They have these signings now and they're unable to get the best out of those players. And sticking to what worked in the previous season never really works out.
Yeah, because it's totally different. Everybody knows your game plan. Now everybody has a whole summer to study every single game that you just played.
And now you have to be a bit more innovative.
Yeah, and especially when you're a new manager, when you're a seasoned manager who has 10 seasons in top flight games, then you can sort of say, okay, this is what I have to change. But when you're a new manager and you're practically testing everything out for the first time, it piles up quick.
100%.
So, but I don't think there's any way that he cannot not be given the job at this point.
Okay, we will see.
And unless there's the perfect candidate out there for whoever they deem to be the perfect candidate.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, who the hell is the perfect candidate?
I think this might be the summer where we might see 10 to 12 different managerial swaps.
Poch? Yeah, we can.
Whoever it is, across all the big sides.
Because Poch could be available.
Yep.
Simeone, Allegri, Mourinho,
Zidane. I hate that name.
I was telling Dad, if Zidane goes to Juve, they better win the Champions League this year.
Off his first season.
No, I'm saying they better win this year.
Oh, this year?
Because I don't know if they're going to win with him next year.
If they win this year, they're not getting rid of Allegri. You think they'll still get rid of Allegri if they win Champions League this season?
It's the end of a cycle.
Apparently, it's not going well for him there. He had to shut his Instagram down. He has to shut his Twitter down. They're insulting his family and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So I read that on Twitter today. So
they gotta figure. Allegri's been there for so long, and I think he's squeezed out everything that he can from that side. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I feel like that's why, like, if he wins, he'll be able to say goodbye on a good note. And then if he loses, they have every reason to.
So do you think if they win, he goes out on his own terms? He probably sees I feel like he's a smart enough man to see the writing on the wall.
So he may.
Okay, that's fair. But whoever Manchester United's right guy is, they haven't been able to get it right in 10 years. So I don't know who the hell Manchester United's right fit is. I don't think anybody really knows, to be honest with you.
We'll see. There are a lot of candidates out there. I don't know who they're gonna go with. I'm actually. It depends, right? What's the United way? What works for them?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing there. So we'll see. But to me, a great week for them to go to Palace with, again, limited amount of players and get the result. I feel like that's huge.
It's sad when I watch Palace and I see Zaha. He's so much better than every other player on that Palace side.
Yeah, but you got to do more, man.
But the fact that he's just rotting his career away at that team, like
where's he supposed to go?
He could play in that Dortmund side. He could be one of those wingers that decides not to track back. I could see that, something like that work. But I don't know.
Germany.
Not Palace.
Okay, fair enough.
Not with Roy. Come on, you're much better than that. Is he the best player Roy's ever managed?
No.
That's up for debate.
I think about that. No, he's not. No, he's by far not. What else? Arsenal?
Yeah, I guess we sort of briefly touched on them, but big weekend for Arsenal. This could be a big 2 to 3 weeks with the previous 2 weeks that just passed and them getting results.
Yeah.
And the weekend coming up. I think if they get that win against Spurs and they can literally they're even closer to third.
Exactly.
How you cannot get behind what Unai has done and then hopefully in the summer give him some more resources, then I don't have hope for anybody if there's no hope for Unai at this point.
No, they've gotten the job done. It was nice to see Ozil come into play.
Yeah.
Mkhitaryan looks like he's back and ready to go. And Aubameyang and Lacazette are firing. So it's a big week for them because they went through Bournemouth like we expected them to, right? So, and who did they play prior to that? They beat them 2-0. It was Southampton?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It was Southampton, yeah.
So they went through those fixtures with relative ease.
They're starting to win the games that they should.
Yeah.
So now that's where these big games are become more and more important. If you want to stay in the top 4, is because you can't consistently drop these big games like we're seeing with Spurs.
Yep. 100%.
80% of Spurs wins this season, the losses this season have come against the big sides. If you continually lose against the big sides, then you're going to probably drop out of that top 4.
Those are a lot of points.
Yeah, especially in this league.
Exactly.
That's the thing. In no other league is it like that.
Where you can't afford to drop that many points.
100%.
So it'll be interesting to see how they go about everything there. But I think the real barometer is when they go to Wembley and we could assess the way that they play and then make our assumptions from there. Or not our assumptions, but state our facts from there.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say, it's a big weekend for everybody because nobody really has a sure thing. With these teams scrapping in the middle of the table, then United plays Southampton. You don't know what Southampton you're going to get.
Yeah.
So even Liverpool have a big test against Everton. The only reason why Liverpool beat Everton was because of Pickford.
Yeah.
The first time around.
That's a derby, so it's not going to be
exactly
as straightforward as many things.
Who's to say Scott Parker on the new manager bounce doesn't beat Chelsea? Yo, if Fulham beat Chelsea,
it might
be over for Sarri.
If Fulham beat Chelsea, Chelsea don't deserve to be in the top 4.
It really might be over for Sarri.
I'm gonna say all that. Miguel Almiron's playing well for Newcastle. Just wanted to give him a shout out. That's my guy. ATL all day.
He's showing you that the MLS produce quality players.
I'm not gonna go that far.
Hey, that's MLS is running with it.
Yeah, so it worked out for him. He's playing well there, and
Wolves can't beat anybody. No, sorry, Wolves can only get points against teams in the top 6, and against everybody else they stink.
I'm telling you, we gotta get them the hell out of here.
I don't understand how you lose to Huddersfield.
We got to get them the hell out of here.
It's okay. I think they're more than content of what the season has already produced for them.
100%. So
because now they'll just chase some big name signing, and then who knows who well, apparently they're chasing the João Felix kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So I don't know if they have because I'm sure his agent is probably Jorge Mendes. So they'll just bring another Portuguese guy along. They've already. I'm pretty sure they've already made the Jimenez move permanent. They need to just add secondary scoring. We've been preaching it all season. It can't be all him.
It can't be all him.
Because Jota wasn't going to give you a hat trick every game.
No chance.
He was lucky to give you that hat trick.
Yep.
I would have been better off if that was spaced out within 4 games as opposed to getting them all in one. But they just don't have the consistency to play their all. Nuno has done extremely well with what he's had.
I think so too.
Especially considering if you look across and you see Fulham.
Yeah.
On their 3rd manager at this point.
Fulham
spent the same amount of money in the winter transfer in the summer transfer window.
But they never fixed any of the issues that I stated that they did have, and that's one of the big things that have resulted to this.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think.
You can't be in the Premier League and defend at a championship level.
Whatever.
That's mad corny. You might have said it, but I'm restating it. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
And speaking of managers getting sacked, Leicester sacked Claude.
But that was expected, and the Brendan is headed over there now. So I think that's big for them because I think Claude kind of lost a dressing room, despite them being, I think, one of the only sides to beat City and then Arsenal. Yeah, City. Sides. Yeah. So that's big for them.
Interesting fact: there's no French manager outside of in the top 5 leagues outside of Liga.
Really?
Yeah. 0.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
That's rare.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Considering the other 4 leagues, you would expect them to be at least one somewhere.
There has to be one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then something else stupid that I read was that 53% of the teams in English football have sacked their manager at least once this year.
That is, I'm gonna leave that where that goes.
The game's changing.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's changing for the better. I was telling Dan that once VAR comes to the Premier League, it's over.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, y'all are gonna turn so fast on it, and I'm just gonna sit here and eat my popcorn and laugh.
Are you saying that's what's keeping it exciting at this point?
Yeah, it's that every week there's something new, and I was like, "Yo, man, you guys still believe this is the right way to go?"
I still do. I still think that it's a system that needs to be worked on better. But the meat and potatoes of it is that should be in place. But that's my stance.
Your stance trash. What else happened?
Spain.
Okay, fine. You want to talk about Southampton when you don't want to talk about anyone else? That's fine.
Nobody's coming here for our Cardiff takes.
They're coming here to know that Miggy played well. Again.
You wanted to get that off twice.
La Liga. You want to talk about La Liga?
Oh, what else is there?
La Liga, who did Barca play? Besides the Clásico.
Barca, they had the comeback.
Oh, yeah. Sevilla.
Messi smoked Sevilla.
Hey, man, look, that just gave me a second wind here.
Clap it up for that guy. That alien. Look, Ray was going off.
I don't want to hear anyone talk about this guy again.
You simply can't.
Don't say anything bad about him. I don't care if he drops a 0 out of 10 against Leon. I don't care.
I don't care if he makes it past half in his own half to defend.
Yeah.
Let him stay wherever the hell he wants to stay.
I don't care. There's nothing you can say about him. There's nothing.
I gotta get a goat sound.
You gotta get like a compilation of Ray hitting all the Messi, whatever he says, his little screams.
Ray is wild.
Look, man, this guy's a problem. I don't think you're gonna see anything better than him.
That volley wasn't even the most impressive
in your lifetime. The volley was disgusting, but it wasn't the most impressive.
But to me, it was the right-footed top corner with his right foot.
Yeah, I was like, okay, young Leo. Jeez, yeah, man. And that was one of those games. That was literally one of those games where Barcelona just didn't look like they were going to get anything.
Yeah.
And he pulled it out of nothing.
Time and time again. He turns on that switch and it's like he's possessed.
And created that 4th goal.
Yeah. 3 goals and an assist.
Oh, man, he's a problem. That's all I got to say. I don't need to go on a little rant about how great he is. He's just a problem, and you need to respect him and appreciate him because time's ticking on him. But they do that, and they go to the Bernabeu, and Messi kind of takes the night off.
Suarez decides to show up.
Because I really couldn't pinpoint what Real Madrid did right to, like, shut Messi down.
Yeah.
And if you could name something, then that's fine. But I couldn't. And then Suarez, who people have also been killing. Remember I said they were saying that he needs a rest and he looks fatigued or whatnot? And then he goes and gives you that.
Boy can still finish.
Great first goal, involved in the second one. And then he killed Casemiro, which it didn't look like he had any of those anymore because he's been struggling to run by defenders all for the past few weeks. And then he kills Casemiro.
Just to let us know.
Just to remind us that he's still here.
Yeah.
But and the other thing there in that Copa del Rey game, it further emphasizes the significance of Dembele, and that yes, he's going to get better, but right now just his presence on the field helps them do so much more than when he's not there.
He gives them something different.
Something direct.
I feel like Coutinho just crowds spaces that Messi and Suarez try to find with one another. And Coutinho is just another body that's trying to work him into that.
Yeah.
Whereas Dembele stretches the pitch, gives you pace in behind the defenders. He's just another problem for the defenders to deal with.
So
also, I think getting Artur back helps as well.
Well, we're gonna see because they're gonna need him back.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, it's a big month for Ernesto. And we're going to see what...
His contract's on the line.
Yeah.
Because that whole fake 1-year contract, that's just a make-believe.
So I look at Barca. It was a pretty good weekend for them. To go to Sevilla, do that, to go to Madrid, and then if this weekend they go to Madrid again, and then have to deal with Lyon, I don't think they can really be complaining.
No. You got to think that if they survive this weekend and get 3, then it's very unlikely that they somehow drop 7 points in the last stretch for Atletico to jump there.
Yeah. I can't even see that now.
No. No, not at all.
Because
that would put Atletico on notice as we're not playing games. This is our league.
Yeah.
Regardless of if we're chasing Europe or not, then
just that they said this is our Copa del Rey.
Yeah. We're not losing it anymore.
Because they haven't said it.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, you see Real Madrid, and you see they have played much better in recent times under Solari, but you still see that they're still missing that little bit of something. I think when your team is relying on a 18-year-old kid to provide scoring on a consistent basis and provide that cutting edge on a consistent basis, he's overachieved.
Yeah.
I don't think there can be anybody that argues that there should be no way that kid should have came into the side and be as influential as he's been. Because at this point in the season, if he doesn't play, there's not one player on that team that can replace what he does. Yeah. You're not getting that from Asensio. You're not getting that from Vasquez. You're not getting that from Bale at this point. You're not getting that from anybody.
Bale has some issues over there.
I don't know if it's psychologically at this point or
it's more than just playing. It's like some real issues. And I think Benzema, my boy Big Benz for Ballon d'Or, I think he's done really well.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's like you need more than just him.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You need more than just
and that's
him.
where the team and that's where, as much as we want to get on the back of Lopetegui to start Solari now, that's where the higher ups have failed. Because they didn't bring in anybody.
Yep.
They brought in Mariano on the last day or the second last day of the transfer window.
Yep.
Just to save face, to say that they brought somebody in. And I don't think I've seen him play more than 90 minutes in the last, maybe the whole year.
He came off the bench at some point, but besides that, it was like a brief cameo, right?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest issue there. But Madrid, I
think it's a changing of the guard.
It is, but that was always the case. And that's why Zidane ran away, because he knew that they weren't going to invest into what he needed, and he saw the writing was on the wall. And that could be, as much as we don't talk about, that could be one of the reasons why Cristiano left as well.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. I'm not going to 100% say it was, but it could be one of the reasons why he left.
He could have already had the conversations with the higher ups and saying, look, we're not spending this in the summer.
Yeah.
So if you want to continue on, and we're going to try to maximize what we can out of these 11 to 13 guys that have done it for us for the last umpteen years, then you can be a part of that. But if you don't want to be a part of that, then you got to move on. And I think that's almost where they're at the position with like Marcelo at this point.
Yeah. And especially with Reguilon playing so well
which sort of has benefited them as well because they've gotten to see these young kids in brief cameos to see what they have at least. So you could see what pieces fit, what pieces don't. You could bring Hakimi back. There are some options there, but fundamentally, there needs to be like new life into this Madrid side.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like they may pull the trigger and spend big this summer within their means.
Yeah, you almost think that they really have to.
Yeah, well, if they want to keep up with Barca, yeah, they're going to have to. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about it and who they put trust in to get over the hump because they can't have performances. I know on the road, it's funny because on the road, they had beaten Barcelona or they drew Barcelona and they had beaten Atletico. And you're thinking, okay, they're turning the corner. And then after that, we get some very poor performances on the road.
Yeah.
Just like the recent one against Levante, who I think are a decent La Liga side. And they just ran Madrid kind of off, right?
Yeah.
And Madrid had to rely on, 2 penalties?
Just to get the win.
VAR?
And then they lost to Girona the week before.
Yeah. So they've been just getting by Ajax. They just got by. And then they they play at home to Barca. And they're playing well and getting into good positions. But just didn't work out.
Would you be surprised if Real Madrid beat Barcelona?
No, because in those games, I feel like anything could happen. But I don't expect them to.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to. And I don't put any blame on Vinicius because I know there has been some blame placed.
You can't. You simply can't blame that kid. How you're blaming that kid at this point is nuts.
That's my thing too.
Is wild.
That's my thing. He should not be that good.
I'm telling you, I don't know how the Brazilians produce these kids.
He should not be that good.
He's smoking every single defender he comes against.
He should not be that good. And for him to not score, I've already said this, that players that reach their peak in terms of finishing, they usually reach it around 25 to 27.
That kid's got 7 years to learn how to score goals.
Yeah. Because even he's not as bad. Mbappe's not as bad as him. But even when you look at Mbappe, someone who people rate so highly and is just a few years older than him, Mbappe hits maybe like 1 every 4, 1 every 5.
Yeah, I'm convinced if Vinicius was playing in Liga, he would have a few more goals under his belt.
Just round the keeper.
Yeah, essentially. He'd be doing what those other 2 guys do on a week-to-week basis.
Just round the keeper, man. Don't worry.
No, it's unfair to be blaming the kid for anything that goes wrong at Madrid right now.
100%.
You got to be looking at up in those special seats that are really expensive. That's who you got to be blaming at this point for your only option on the bench to be Mariano to score goals.
That's crazy.
Which is nuts. They should be happy that Benzema's produced what he's produced this season.
Exactly.
Because realistically, he hasn't been putting up those numbers in a long time.
But now he kind of gets that freedom. Probably a bit too late in his career.
Yeah.
Because you feel if it was like a few years ago, he'd be a bit more slimmer, a bit more in shape.
He might be one of the most underappreciated players of our time. Like in terms of value of what he brought to his team in winning sides, always being there, playing a role, but just never that guy.
Yeah.
Always, But hey, I'm sure he's not complaining because he lives in a nice house and he has all those Champions League trophies and, so he's not complaining.
You don't care. You don't give a damn about what we say. Aleti 1-2. Morata finally scored. Shout out to Alvaro.
Yeah.
Finally, happy for him.
He's turning the corner.
Griezmann played well. We got to give a shout to Griezmann.
Oh, wow.
Because I always kill him. And I always say that he doesn't play well. But I feel like this week he did play well.
See, we are impartial.
Yeah.
We don't just kill everybody.
As much as I want to. And when we look at Diego Costa coming on too, I think Costa was great.
Well, he gives them something completely different. And he is that sandpaper. He's that great. He just intimidates defenses. As much as people don't, he could be one of the most awkward looking players ever. I feel like he's always stumbling over himself, but somehow he gets past the defenders. I don't understand. He gets himself into great positions. he does the job of what they need, and what they need right now is secondary scoring.
Yeah, now they're gonna miss him in that second leg, but I think Morata could do the job, and I think the also key player for them coming back in is Koke.
100%.
He offers so much more. A reliable ball player, another hard worker, could play on the flanks as well, can link play in those tight spaces. So crucial to what they're doing. And with him coming back into that starting lineup, it kind of really, really puts them back to what they were. So I really do hope they keep winning, because I think that second leg is going to be very intriguing.
Yeah.
And I think it's intriguing because as good and as much as we expect Juve to attack, Atletico could defend just as good as Juve attacks. And I think that's the scary thing.
Yeah, if there's any side in world football that you would expect to be able to take wave on wave on wave of pressure, it will be Atletico.
Yeah.
If there's any couple of center backs that can deal with Mandzukic's height, that can deal with Ronaldo's aerial ability, it's those guys. Yep. So it's going to be a war of attrition. It's going to be if Juventus somehow are able to get a moment of brilliance or break down that Atletico side, what happens after that?
Yeah. And they rested Godin this weekend.
It's just hilarious to me how Godin is still like kissing the badge and everything, even though he's already signed his contract with Inter.
Hey, man, he lives it, breathes it.
This new age is nuts.
I'm telling you, man. I hate these new kids.
And he's not a kid. He's an old man.
But I hate the kids.
He's learning from the kids.
He's learning from the kids. I hate the kids. I hate their dad's moves. I hate their entitledness. I hate their entitlement. I hate everything. They need to relax. All of them need to relax and know their place and stop passing on their young kid vibes to the old folks. I don't want to see any of these old folks doing any of these dad's moves.
Old man Ty does not want any of it.
Nah, man. You gotta understand, man. They're just doing a way too much, and they just need to relax.
So you're not bored of El Clásicos yet?
No, I'm not. It's as sad as it's to say, I'm not. I'm intrigued by them because I want to see what we could see new. But for the most part, they're fine. I'm not overly excited about it, but at the same time, it's like I could be watching worse.
Will we ever see them at the peak of what we seen them in? What was that?
2011.
Yeah, and that Pep Mourinho. Is that peak? That's peak Clásico.
I guess in terms of this decade, like, yeah, it could be
because you had Messi, you had Ronaldo, you had Pep, you had all the ingredients.
Yeah. During
those, see, I think maybe that's where I'm at fault. Because I'm trying to compare this and from recent times to that, and I don't think we'll ever reach that again.
Because you had two great managers. You had the way Real counter. You had Barca's midfield, and then you have two of the best players of the generation, right?
Yeah, and you had Barcelona, who was transcending the game, changing the way the game was played,
and then Real Madrid trying to be the ones that figured out how to stop that, and halt it. So, yeah, we may not see another one like that again, but I'm not bored of it yet.
Well, hopefully this weekend it lives up to.
I think it should be fine. I think they'll play with a little pep in their step, and as corny as that is, and actually push forward with it.
Well, Serie A themselves have their. Does this game mean anything? With a 13-point gap, Juventus Napoli on Sunday.
Isn't Ronaldo resting?
I would assume. Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear that, but I would. At this point, why not?
I heard that he probably is resting
because of his ankle.
I'm not even too sure what it was. I just heard that he is resting. See if I could find it.
Because I read that it was his ankle that he just got back into training. So whatever the case is, if he rests, if he's not, if he doesn't play, do Juventus still have enough to beat Napoli?
I have to wait and see. Technically, the right answer would be yes, given that they're home. But
Napoli are home.
Oh, Napoli are home.
Yeah.
Okay. Shoot. That could change a lot. That's a tough place to go. That's a very tough place to go. But Juve could afford to drop that.
Yeah, with 13 points. It doesn't even matter.
But the thing about them is that's not in their DNA.
Yeah, of course, 100%, right? Especially given the fact that they've been so good domestically this season.
Yeah.
They don't want to have a loss to Napoli.
And then, but I look at Napoli. Napoli have quietly went about their business.
Yep.
And they're gonna want to win this game. And just looking at the way that Juve have played over the past few weeks, even when you look at the Bologna game, just kind of not really there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's there for Napoli to kind of really just cut the gap. I know it may not mean anything, but
it's almost been an easy first season for Ancelotti.
Because there's been no pressure whatsoever.
No pressure, no expectations. Nobody really believed that they were going to challenge Juventus. Everybody, even with the group that they got drawn into the Champions League, I don't think very many people expected too much. If they got out, regardless how, that would have been a bonus.
Except for Dan.
I think it would have been a bonus if they got out. But realistically, I don't think they were ever going to make a crazy deep run. So he's in a nice little spot where maybe he gets to try things out. He gets to tinker. He gets to see who he wants to use, who's not going to be there.
Yeah.
But like I said before, they're in the shit spot where Juventus are just head and shoulders above the rest.
And that's why I didn't want to bring them up. I don't really care. I'm telling you right now, we could be crucifying Juventus if they don't get past Atletico.
Oh no, 100%.
I'm just gonna put that on the table right now. That I don't care what they do until that time.
That podcast in 2 weeks' time.
I don't care. I don't give a damn about what they do until that time.
That's fair.
And then we could really talk about them because what they're doing in the league, I'll tell you, week in and week out, does not impress me. It does not impress me one bit. And I've always said that a club that have done what they have done, and what we expect from them, given what they've done in the transfer window and how they've assembled the squad, they've underperformed. It's more than just results here, and for me at least, it's more than just results. I've said the best teams, the great teams, are able to do a bit of both. Yes, you can be pragmatic. Yes, there are weeks where you're going to have to grind out games, but they've been doing this on a week-to-week basis, and I don't think they're half-assing it.
You can't be pragmatic for 90% of your games.
No, and they're not, and they're not half-assing it.
Yeah,
they're really not half-assing it.
I think the problem is when the history books look at it and they see that 0 in the loss column right now.
It could.
That's what people are going to say. Oh, but they've won X amount of games and haven't lost the game. So what are you saying? But if you see their performances,
I'll tell you what I'm saying.
If you see the performances, it doesn't look great.
No.
So no, I can agree with you on saying that next leg will be, at this point, will be the biggest game of their season. And then every Champions League game after that will then continue to be the biggest game of their season. Regardless of who they're playing in the league, what week, if it's back-to-back.
Yeah.
I don't care if they play on a Saturday, Sunday at this point.
I don't care if they play on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. No. So I don't care. I don't care about that.
3rd through 5th, though.
Yeah, because Roma, was it Edin Dzeko at the death?
Yeah.
Against Frozen Note. Come on, man. Just lose. Or die. Like, stop this. Don't waste my time. Like, beat these guys down or drop it.
Piatek continues to score.
Yes.
Ivan Drago.
Yeah, he does.
Inter stumble again. I don't know. Inter's like, I don't understand Inter. I don't.
But
they'll bring in somebody ridiculous in the offseason, and
that was a tough way to really give up all 3 points or drop 2 points. To me, that was a really tough way to let that happen. I thought the Muriel goal was fantastic.
That was a hit.
But for them to drop it in that manner, really.
But that's their issue, is that if it wasn't for their early season ability to win games late, this season would have been much worse.
Yeah.
So the writing has been on the wall is that they can't hold it together for whatever reason, is that they can't hold together games. Okay. And what you think is kind of wild, because I think they arguably have some of the best center backs in the league.
Yeah.
But the consistency just hasn't been there. I think their fullbacks have just been atrocious.
Dalbert was getting killed.
But they have not had any consistency. Every week
D'Ambrosio.
is somebody different there.
Yep.
Their midfield aren't the type of midfield to dictate a game. You're not getting enough. I love Brozovic,
Yeah.
but he can't play next to Gagliardini, and you expect much out of that. And then you have Raja. What does Raja add? I'm not 100% sure. There was a reason why Roma said we can live without you.
Yeah.
Granted, they didn't really replace him with much.
Exactly.
But that's why both teams are in the position they're in now.
Yep.
But this is an ongoing theme with Inter is that you're just not bringing in the right players.
Nope. Not at all. And they bring in these players, and then there's a bit of managerial turmoil, and then that kind of sets everything back a bit. But do we know their best 11?
I think it's like a 4. It's probably their 4-2-3-1. It would include Icardi. It would probably include Politano and Perisic out wide with Raja in behind them. But is that my question is that 11 good enough?
2.
Well, clearly they want top 4.
They're good enough. I think they're good enough to be in the top 4. Like that was a phantom call. Never mind. We're gonna get into that. I don't care. I'm just saying that there are a lot of things that need to be fixed on that end, and I think they'll be fine
in the long run. Or do you mean this season?
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do in the long run, so I won't make that comment. But I think this season they should have enough to get into the top 4.
Yeah, I don't trust Roma, Torino, or Atalanta, to Lazio for that matter, to be able to bounce Inter or AC Milan out. Not saying that AC Milan have that 4th spot locked up.
No.
But I think Inter more so have more quality than those other. The same way you don't really believe in the other bums passing Spurs. You don't trust them. I guess the word is you want to use.
Yeah,
I don't trust the 3 to 4 teams below Inter to get past them. Okay. That would be totally on Inter if they blew that. Let me phrase it like that.
That's fine. Although I kind of trust Milan week by week more and more. I think that they do. They have enough, and obviously the addition of Piatek has helped. But everyone else has kind of stepped up a bit. I still feel a way about their wider players, but if he could continue to score, and Paqueta, although he had a slow night against Empoli, if they could continue to push forward, then I think they should be in that hunt. They should finish where they are.
Which is crazy because when you look at Milan's lineup and you look at Inter's lineup, player for player, you would assume that Inter would be able to put better results together.
Yeah.
But Milan, see, that's where the difference is, where Milan now have sort of begun to bring in the right players, regardless of their stature in terms of the name on the back of their jersey.
Yeah.
That's what Inter need to start doing and bringing in the right player, not the name. You don't got to bring in the Nainggolan, but you got to bring in the right player for the system, which also goes hand in hand with, does Inter know their system? Does their coach know what they really want to set out to do? This whole coach, like you said, managerial turmoil. You can't really bring in the right players when you don't know who your manager is going to be.
You don't have an identity.
Exactly.
Nothing.
At least with Gattuso, you know what you're going to get out of him.
Unfortunately.
It's not exciting.
Very far from.
But you know on a week-to-week basis what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah.
Which lends its hand to have some sort of consistency, which usually lends its hand to have some sort of success.
Hey, Inter are going to be fine. Inter going to be fine.
They better not blow that top 4.
Inter going to be fine. That's a tough place to go, and they should have won the game, but they should be fine. Milan still not too certain, but they're playing a bit better, and I don't. We'll leave it there with them because I don't know. I take them week by week.
That's a fair assumption.
Because in the Coppa Italia, they kind of played a bit reserved, and they didn't really have anything going for them. And I'm like, okay, I could fall back for a week and see where you go with this.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll learn more about them on that little broadcast with the halftime show.
Yo, let them get their haircut.
Nah, man. No. Get your haircut at another place. And not with the cameras. I don't want to see you get your haircut. I don't know what they talk about because I muted and I fast forward it. But you got to break that down at some point.
Maybe somebody's trying to holler at your girl. Buddy in the nice jeans.
You never.
I'm not. Okay, I'm stopping. I'm stopping. Get myself into trouble around here.
You can't compete with a guy with the nice jeans.
Dortmund beat Leverkusen. They're back to their winning ways. What a segue.
Hey, shout out to Dortmund.
Their players wear nice jeans too.
Lucian wears nice jeans. Pause.
Oh, goodness gracious.
They
find a way to win with Royce.
Yep.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that we take out of that.
And they didn't keep a clean sheet. They conceded 2 goals. So if they do it against Spurs, they're going to be knocked out.
Yeah.
They went up and Sancho scored that great goal and Götze was able to finish things off. They conceded from a set piece.
Are you starting to believe Sancho yet?
No,
not yet.
No, I'll wait till next season.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll with him. I'll wait till next season.
Okay. Because he's English.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You gotta do it twice.
He's gonna Walcott us. Don't you Walcott us?
This guy's gonna become the next Aaron Lennon.
10 years from now, he's gonna be at Everton.
The next Sean Wright Phillips. Come on, man.
You remember him?
Yep.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, I don't see Bradley too. I don't see too much of them.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
No, but no Sancho hype yet. Interesting to see Weigl play in midfield.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
He's had to play center back.
You still play there?
That means some guys are getting back to fitness.
Well, that's a tough game, man. That's Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Leverkusen is a tough game.
They have some quality there for sure.
And without Royce to be able to get through that, I think that's huge for them. And they could take that and move forward with it. But the race is on, and Bayern were able to squeak one out as well, right?
That's a huge win for them.
Javi Martinez, big week for him.
He's really sort of started to revitalize that side because he wasn't really featuring much.
No, and he was struggling.
Yeah.
But if he could put in the next few months, 2 to 3, and really regain that form, then that's a positive for Bayern, because kind of forget how important he was when he first came. And then a lot of the time after that, he was playing center back. But when he plays central midfield, it does really benefit. It benefits them.
Yeah, 100%.
And then with Thiago as well, the only person that hasn't really performed, and we both said, is James.
Yeah.
But
does Real Madrid want him back?
They might. It's difficult to say now, but they might.
Because I don't see what James does that Isco can't.
He's a bit more disciplined.
You think so?
Yeah. I could trust him. I could trust him to kind of
do a job.
Do a bit more. Yeah.
I just don't know. I can't see right now in the Solari side where James fits, and if he gets enough minutes to stay content. Because I think that was his biggest issue, was knowing the fact that he wasn't going to get enough time.
Well, Solari ain't there next year.
Yeah.
Solari's crying that they didn't get to the Copa del Rey final. That was his only hope.
Yeah, I guess.
He's got to go big or go home and win that Champions League.
If Solari wins the Champions League,
is that bigger than Di Matteo winning the Champions League? It's around the same ballpark, but not.
I'm gonna say no, just because Real Madrid have won the Champions League with virtually, I'm not gonna say the same, but virtually an 80% same lineup.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only reason why I say that.
Fair enough. I know. He ain't Di Matteo.
But Munich are back in striking distance.
Yeah, they're there, man.
And a month ago, we were killing them, saying when they had that chance to take points and they didn't.
Yeah,
we were killing them, saying it could potentially be over if they don't really pick up steam here. But they've found a way to get their way back into it, and
that's a tough game for them. They lost to Hertha earlier this year, anyways.
The first round.
It wasn't the first round.
Not the first round, but their first go around.
Yeah, they did lose there. So for them to come back, it was a tough game for them, and they were able to get through. And they've caused teams problems as well, right?
Yeah, no, they definitely have
this season.
They have a disciplined side.
So for Bayern, it's huge, and for Dortmund to deal with Leverkusen and get through that, because there were points of that game where you thought, okay, they're going to drop.
Yeah, especially because we've seen them concede in quick succession before.
Yeah,
we've seen them not really been able to hold games out lately.
Yeah.
So this week stretch, this 2-week stretch, will be extremely important for them.
Huge.
Because if they go out,
massive, it could define their season.
Because if they go out in disappointing fashion without a fight, that mentally, who knows what that does to them.
And they I don't. Once Roy's, I have to decide, because once Roy's coming back,
with that guy, I don't know. The fact that he played so many games consecutively was already astonishing.
That was already a shock.
Yeah. And that's why I don't think anybody pinning the hopes on him being fit for a full season was really dumb.
Yeah. We're fortunate to get that much out of him.
Yeah. Because when was the last time he had a fit season? We're talking Klopp era? Maybe slightly after Klopp?
Yeah, I'm not even going to answer that.
But when was the last time we really seen him produce for a long 6 months? That's not that long.
Yeah, no.
6 months is half a season.
No.
60% of a season. If you want to be one of the top players in the world, you need to produce for much longer than that.
But they play Spurs this midweek, right?
Yes, they do.
Who do they play this weekend?
Let me fact check for you.
Who do they play this weekend?
Dortmund play. They play on Friday. They play Augsburg.
Oh yeah, they play Augsburg.
Didn't Augsburg beat Bayern? No,
did they?
I could be wrong. Or they drew Bayern?
I'm not even going to look into that.
Oh no, it was 3-2.
Yeah,
it was where they scored in the 15 seconds into the game or whatever.
No.
Augsburg's coming for you, Dortmund.
but as a whole, Dortmund, I look at it. Yeah, man, the Reus. They live and die by Reus. They live and die by Reus. As sad as it's to say that on a week-to-week basis, they really do. So
it's a team full of a lot of young players. So I don't think I think they very much have overachieved this season.
100%.
So to expect them to see out the last 2 months of the year playing at the same pace that they started the season without their leader, I think would be extremely difficult.
He's got to come back.
And most of the times you see teams progress through the season and they tinker with things. This is a side that you haven't really seen much of a different look from them.
4-4-2, break on the counterattack, sit a bit deeper.
Like you've never seen them play an extra midfielder and bunker down, or play two guys up top, or they would play the same. Most of 90% of the time, it's the same, similar 11, because they have similar players that do similar things. They're young, wide players. They kind of do the same thing, whether if it's Sancho, whether it's Wolf, whether it's Brun Larsen, Guerrero. They all kind of Pulisic. They all kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's you want to talk about a system? That is straight up a system.
Yeah.
Anybody can just
slot in if they played a similar way.
Dahoud can do what Witsel does. Witsel could do what Delaney does. Maybe not as good as one another, but it's completely a system-based team. So for that to work game in, game out, week in, week out, without a different look,
it's eventually going to take a toll on you, especially if your key player isn't there.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. There's anything from Bayern that you really took?
Just the fact that they're finally starting to reel off games. I think that's important for their confidence, and I don't think it's out of the question that they get past Liverpool.
Okay, I'll listen to that.
Because if you spring that, there are 3 points within. That can be something that gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, you
want to get legs out of Ribery and Robin. Apparently, Robin has fixed whatever issue he's been having forever. If you get and this is what you wanted, because they're older guys, but now you're in the final stretch and they've barely played all season.
Yeah.
So if you're going to run those guys into the ground, it's now.
Now, and it's in those Champions League games.
Exactly, where you know that they're tried and tested.
Yeah.
Where I don't know how many of those Liverpool guys are tried and tested. Yeah, they've been there last season. But Bayern at home, simply needing to score a goal, win a game, I don't think it's out of the question that they advance. And that can really kick off they're the same way Dortmund could go the other way and get bounced out. Bayern could potentially advance where nobody's really expecting that.
Expecting them at all.
I think if you asked 10 people, 9 of them would have told you they were betting on Liverpool all day, every day.
Yeah, a lot of people were.
So I seen most of the pundits. Nobody's really betting on Bayern.
I don't care what those pundits have to say. I really don't care what they have to say. They need to get out of here.
So they've turned their season around.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm week to week, man, week to week with those guys because with Bayern, it's something new. With Dortmund, we know what we're gonna get, but it's how we get it.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about that.
Agreed.
Finally, we keep hitting that mark, man. Keep hitting that mark. But we had a lot to talk about this week. TFC. We got to hit it because
we don't have our insider here.
We don't have the TFC insider live and direct from section 1-1 something.
I was going to say, you know the section?
You know it's a 1-1, but we don't know which 1-1 it is.
Okay, we'll call it 116.
No, it's like 113 or 114.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well,
the dudes have banged the drums. And then go to the game with no shirt and no pants.
Well, it looked mighty empty on Tuesday, which I can't really blame the people that chose not to go.
No. That's another thing. They're trash
for not showing up.
Yeah, you're trash. Because if that was 2 seasons ago, that stadium would have been packed. I remember those MLS Cup finals where they were rammed, and I questioned every person that went there, not because of the fact that they loved TFC. I questioned them for the fact that they went there in that cold. And now, because freezing cold, and they're not winning, or they weren't going to win, people are like, nah, I'm gonna chill.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess.
Fans are trash.
Watching that game really made me think, how did you guys lose 4-0 to this team?
Maybe that's why Dan was complaining that he should have bunkered down 4-5-1, the whole spiel, right?
He would have not been happy if they had done that.
maybe that's why. It's like, because then we could have went home and hit them with this.
Should a team be more pragmatic when they know, even if they know they're better than the other side? Like, is that allowed?
In a cup competition, yeah.
Okay.
In a cup competition, yeah.
So you would have had no problem if TFC did that in the first leg?
Well, I personally don't care.
Neither do I.
I personally don't care. I don't know how TFC Live would feel if Vanny did that. And that's my thing. With fans, it's always a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because they'll always, if something doesn't work out, they'll always be like, well, why didn't you do the opposite?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So that's why I can't take whatever they say with much stock. Because if they played proactive and they should have been a bit more defensive, why weren't you defensive? If they were too defensive and didn't get the goal, well, why didn't you push more men forward? So you can't win. So I don't care what they have to say. I really don't.
I think in this game, it was just a case of them not being able to finish. And I think that's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout the entire season. Especially the fact that you're re-signing a guy who you don't know how many games he's going to be fit for. It's kind of a toss-up. And it proved to me you can't trust the other guys there to score goals on a consistent basis. Quality finish from your buddy Jordan.
That's not my buddy. But well, how long are we going to wait for him to develop?
Well, has he really been given a chance in the last 3 years?
I don't care. So
it goes a little hand in hand.
So we got to give him a run of games?
Which this comes with what the president is saying now, where they want to develop from within so that they have players who can step into the mold and not have to go elsewhere to purchase players.
So you're saying he needs a run of games?
I personally don't think he has that quality to be their central figure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think he can be faulted for being given a cup game every 2 months in the last 3 years because the big guys have been there and have been playing. But time and time again, when they've asked him to show up, it hasn't really been there. So yes, they go hand in hand. But I think if you're expecting a lot out of these younger players, then they need to be given time.
I thought Osorio played a bit better.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with how TFC played. It came down to, I thought they were far and away the better team.
No, I had an issue with the way they conceded.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the defending. That's the
Yeah.
defending aspect of
Yeah.
it. But when you bring in a guy like Simon, what did you really expect?
They didn't try to get a commanding commanding defender.
Mavinga's erratic.
Oh my!
He's all over he was trying to hit 40-yard bangers.
He's like a better version of Daniil Henry, and he's like a rich man's Daniil Henry.
A left-footed Daniil.
Yeah. Yo, he's got to relax.
So he's gonna end up at Everton, maybe?
No, I hope not. Just keep your ass at home. stay here. I don't know what else to really say, man. Like we it leaves me to believe that now we need to know what their expectations are for the season. And from the fan, obviously from the club, but from the fans too. You know? Because was it Dan? We were talking in the group chat, and I was telling him, I was like, hey, this is making me feel like, all this talk makes me feel like I want Jovico. I wish Jovico stayed.
So you could see this disaster with him there?
Yeah. Is that bad of me? Is that bad that I feel that way?
No, because I agree to a certain extent. A lot of people are saying, oh, if Jovinko was there, they wouldn't have lost 4-0. Okay, they might have lost 4-1.
Exactly.
Because Jovinko doesn't defend.
Exactly.
They didn't make the playoffs last season and Jovinko played.
And that was my point. There were games where they lost 5-3, won 5-3.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. So I don't understand why, if Jovinko was there, we wouldn't have. No, man.
We automatically assume that because a player can score, that means the other team isn't going to score.
Yeah.
That's not how things work.
Or because a player can score doesn't mean another team can't shut him down.
Yeah. 100%.
Not to say that they would, but it's not a guaranteed. It's not a for sure.
I think what Toronto FC did within Independiente was what the Mexican teams last year did with TFC, where they came into the game not really thinking that TFC had that in their locker, had the capability to hit you on the counter, had the capability to finish in front of goal.
And they got sucker punched.
Exactly. And they had no response whatsoever. I think that's exactly what it came down to. By the time they blinked in the first leg, they were down 4-0.
Yeah.
And across any sport, I don't care what it is, when you're trying to come back from 4-0, that's not easy. 2-0, okay. 3-0, that's difficult. But 4, for you to score 5, and don't tell me this playing in the cold is home advantage for them, because it's not.
No.
There's a reason they went to Miami or to Florida or wherever the hell they went to train.
Yeah.
They played on this pitch the same amount of time the Panamanians played on this pitch. So that's not home field advantage, because these players don't want to play in the cold either.
Nope. It's that was funny, man. That was funny. They're playing on like sad.
That was nuts. That was absolutely nuts.
But
nobody gave the Panamanian coach a goose. Somebody should have shipped him a goose.
He was still swagging.
Somebody should have shipped him a goose.
He was still trying to swag. When I look at this TFC squad and we really try to assemble what we have here, has the defense got better?
I can't say it has.
I don't think anyone could say it has. Has the midfield gotten better?
Nope.
They're pretty much the same.
The younger players have gone one season older, but other than that.
Can Markey and Ozo take them to the next level with Bradley holding? It's tough. That's a lot of ask on the young kid Ozo and for Bradley to really keep going. You know how I feel about Bradley. I don't think that they should be building with him going forward, but he's there. They want to bring back Altidore, that's fine, but Altidore has to play. If he doesn't, that's really huge based off injuries, correct?
Do they have the pieces around Altidore? Altidore is not a guy who's going to go get you the ball and score goals.
No.
Altidore worked so well with Jovinko because Jovinko could interchange play with him so well. Altidore could play Jovinko in behind, and Jovinko could return the balls.
Yeah. But
he's not going to have that player. So what's his production going to be like this season? What are you going to get from those other young kids? Is De Leon going to give you something? He was a guy that at Dallas, I don't think he was a starter either. He was more of an impact player.
Yeah.
So what have you upgraded this season?
And that's the biggest thing.
You're gonna bring in Pozuelo? That's gonna be it?
That may be someone that they could build around with Josie.
All I'm saying is if they bring in Quaresma, I'm buying season tickets.
You need to relax.
No, you can guarantee.
You need to relax.
You can guarantee that I will be at every game.
You need to relax. You relax. But I look at it. Yeah, I'm cutting that off. You gotta relax. I look at it from the top to the bottom, and I don't really see where they've improved. And with that being said, even with that guy staying, it doesn't help because you haven't really improved. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because he's also 1 year older.
Yeah, and he was a part of that entire downfall.
I think they were trying to get by those three guys carrying the team for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And now you're really starting to see the real TFC side. That TFC side that they put out, it's not going to be much different
than what we see against Philly.
Apart from...
Which kicks off this weekend. MLS is back.
Apart from when Altidore plays.
Yeah.
And if they bring in Pozuelo, which I don't think is going to make that great of a difference.
I haven't seen him play willingly.
I'm sure there's a reason why Genk are not minding him leaving. They're a team that were in the Europa League.
Yeah.
So
shit, I guess we got to watch the Europa League.
Find them. Listen, you're never going to replace Giovinco.
But I know that. That is understandable. Everyone should understand that.
But I think people don't.
They think that they're supposed to get an instant replacement for him.
You were never going to find anybody that was 2015 Giovinco. You're never going to find anybody that's 2016 Giovinco. You're never going to find anybody that's this year's Giovinco probably.
You're never going to to add on to that. You're never going to find any of those pieces that are willing to come here.
Yes. That was my argument with Dan, is that you'll never find another player at that stage in his career being that good, being that talented, being young, willing to move here. I won't say never. It is going to be extremely difficult.
No. I'm going to say never to the camera and hope that they prove me wrong.
But it's going to be extremely difficult for you to find a player at that point in his career. You're never going to get an Icardi here. Not to say Giovinco at the time is the equivalent to an Icardi, but some people who are throwing that around, you're never going to get anywhere near that. I can't even think of a player who at this point in his career who is in turmoil of his club at a big side who would come to the MLS like that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Because they never have.
Yeah.
The players that have all come to the MLS have been either not wanted. Giovinco is the anomaly. All the other big names that have come to the MLS have been players who have been sort of on the backhand of their career. Unless you go find a gem like a Miggy, if you go find a gem like a Martinez.
That TFC fans need to understand that, yeah, he's gone. And yeah, he offered you so much in terms of your history, both for good and bad. And he won a trophy with you, and he was the MVP. But like Fab said, that is where the line is crossed. Coming in, we knew that they were never going to be able to upgrade on him, and that should have been understood from the get-go. And now that he is gone, you have to understand that the club needs to look for a player that they could build around. A player that they could build around for the next few seasons, not something short-term. So this player is not expected to be as good as Giovinco, but he's supposed to be a player that they could really look to push forward with and trust that his presence and his leadership will help them replicate that period that they had with Giovinco, Altidore, Vasquez, and Bradley. Okay? That also means that those two got to go eventually.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah. To finish this phase off. The club has... The rebuild was always inevitable. Something went down outside. But those sirens are going berserk. But they had that time with that core group of players. And that's cool. But now they got to get rid of them and push forward. And it looks like they're already heading in that direction. But obviously you can't get rid of everyone all at once. Now, yeah. I was surprised that they never pulled the trigger on Bradley or try to see where they were going with him.
I think the fact that he's the face of the team, the captain of the team, that he'll be the last piece to go. and he'll be on his own accord.
Michael
He'll probably retire here.
But Michael got to look in the mirror.
He'll probably retire here.
His days are numbered in terms of how many games he could play, man.
And it comes down to if he wants to take a secondary role.
We may have to get back into that because I don't know. It's tough because I look at them heading into the start of the season, and you're right. The biggest thing is goals. The biggest thing is who's going to score, who's the reliable goal scorer.
Because you just lost your best goal scorer.
Yeah.
And you have nowhere near replaced him.
Yeah.
Anything near him. It might be a long season. So just adjust your expectations. That's what I said last week. That's what I'm saying now. If you're a TFC fan, adjust those expectations.
But here's my thing with that is that I also don't want them to overreact and think that based off what they saw in those two legs is really the indicator of what is to come.
I don't know if it's the indicator.
More so the first leg.
No, yeah, because you have to take both as a whole.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously certain things that play into one another, but it's not a season that's looking promising.
No.
And I think this notion of the last 3 years of where you're challenging every year, that needs to be lost.
That needs to end.
You might be just in a fight for an 8th, a 7th, a 6th place.
Yeah. And they have to understand that based off what happened last season with that great player.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the fine line is that he was there and you still were one of the worst sides in MLS.
And people want to talk about injuries, but that season last season wasn't a fluke.
No.
Yes, there were injuries. Yes, there was bad timing on certain things, but that wasn't a fluke. That didn't just happen because.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Just adjust your expectations. Not to expect a season as bad as last season, and not to expect games as bad as the first leg against Independiente.
Yeah.
But don't expect a lot, much, much more.
No.
If you're expecting TFC to come out and score 3 to 4 to 5 goals a game, I don't think that's really going to happen with this side.
No, I don't think it's going to happen either unless Jordan finds his shooting boots, unless Akinola does whatever we're apparently told that he can do.
Yeah.
And then who else?
And that's the thing that scares me with this team is that you could score 4 last season, but you were also conceding 3.
Yeah.
And this season, I don't think you can score 4, but I still think you can concede 3. And that's where my whole issue with this team comes.
They got a lot of work to do, man. And they're giving people the bag, and those players got to deliver because it's going to get real scary. I don't know what else to say about them because I thought they performed decent enough in that second leg. They did make a mistake for the goal, and I thought they could have closed down they could have closed down. They could have done much better in the second leg. They could have taken more chances. In the first leg, they obviously could have kept the scoreline down as well, but they didn't. And they went home and they created chances. They created a lot of chances.
A ton.
And that's one of the things is that it's not all, negative here. They did play half decent, especially and when they were supposed to. And another night, maybe some of those go in, right?
And that's even more disappointing is the fact that they were so much better in the second game.
Yeah, but I think it's also the fact that it's your first game of the season, right?
Yeah.
Lack of preparation. It takes time to ease in, but it's just unfortunate for them that the competition started when it did, and that they had to enter such a frenetic, cagey clash at that point of the season. That's the worst first game to play.
Yeah.
That's by far the worst first game any team could play.
It's like starting your season off in the Champions League game.
Yeah. One of the worst, but they got through it. And now, obviously, they didn't get the result that they wanted, but now they have to push forward and start the season off on the right note. And perhaps we'll be surprised. If not, then we'll be here next week, kind of telling people on Monday how it goes.
At least now they get to focus on just the league.
Yeah.
If that's one good thing.
Yeah, get that Champions League shit out of here. You had your chance. It didn't happen. You'll be back again soon, hopefully. For the meantime, try and make the playoffs. I know Dan was saying before we cut this off. I know Dan was saying that's not a goal. Was that what he said?
Really?
I don't know.
I would hope that making the playoffs is a goal. It'd be sad if they're not shooting for
I don't
that.
know. Okay, so I'm not going to quote him. But that should be their goal this season, if anything. Make the playoffs and go forward from there. See what you can do after that. But, can't really knock them. The team isn't as great as it should be. They've obviously lost some key players, but now it's time for the other players to step up. And it starts on Saturday because the MLS is back. Anything else, man?
That's it.
We ran that time.
Yep.
Yeah, man. We'd make sure we never skip so many days before a podcast again, so this shit never happens. Sound like a plan?
That's fair.
We did good without Dan?
I think we did aight.
Yeah.
Meh.
We got through it. That was InnerViews Podcast, episode number 61. We barely got through it, or at least I barely got through it, but we did it, and we did it without Dan. We missed Dan. He'll be back on Monday. If you did enjoy the podcast, you could find it on your Apple device or iTunes. You can find it on any Android app on your Android devices, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Spotify. We do upload videos every day on YouTube, youtube.com/theinnerviews, where you can see myself try to break down games that Fabs wonderfully edits. And you could find, I have to give you the plug.
I'll take it.
To give you the plug. And if that's not your cup of tea, you can find us on Facebook, like and follow and like. We post the same videos there with the podcast and video clips of the podcast as well. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and the InnerViews TV. I post swaggy pictures, and you could tell me if my opinions are right or wrong on Twitter. I probably don't care, but it's something that you should consider. Is there anything else that I really missed?
No, man, that's it.
Hit everything. Shout out to everyone. Enjoy the weekend. A lot of games. Derby weekend. Enjoyed that. We're going to be doing our thing, and our weekend kind of starts tomorrow. So with that being said, it's been a crazy night. We got a lot to do. Probably not going to get any sleep. So it's your guy, Tyrrell.
It's Fab.
And we are out.